The idea sounded better in my head. Yeah. Hello everybody. Welcome back to an internet rant about a topic that is only interesting to myself. Overwatch 2. Let me start by giving you the synopsis of this video. Overwatch 2 was essentially an overblown marketing scam to turn a popular hero shooter with a not-so-profitable in-game cosmetic system into the same hero shooter with a Fortnite item shop and a battle pass. The sequel title was an excuse to be a free-to-play model in order to change to a subscription-based monetization system. It was leaked by an anonymous ex-employee some time ago that some bigwig executive over at Blizzard decided that there'd be a higher return on investment by focusing purely on the multiplayer aspect of the game, rather than devoting time and money into the massive PvE they promised over 6 years ago. Part of that now is in exchange for the favor of the game's player base, they milked the game for more in-game purchases. But everyone who plays the game knows this already. What really blows my mind is the fact that the outrage from the core community had no impact on the success of Overwatch 2, even though they straight up lied about what was happening. Let me break this down for you what happened in the eyes of the public, okay? They reveal Overwatch 2 at a time where Overwatch Senior was old and gray, dry of updates or content because they purposely let that game run frail in order to work on the new game. Supposedly. They left the predecessor unupdated for about 3 years, which is a long fucking time for an FPS shooter. Alright, fine. Overwatch 2 better be special. Overwatch 2 is promised to have all sorts of story mode content and a new, exciting features. Alright, great. Now, a small time before release, they come out and say Overwatch 2 is only releasing with the new multiplayer version shooter and the single player is set to be released in the future. Fine, they needed more time to release it, whatever. Happens sometimes to the best developers even. It's alright. PvE better be good. Overwatch 2 releases, hits the market, and I shit you not, sports fans. It was mid. At least it felt that way for me at the time, because the only addition on launch were 3 characters, some new maps, and a game mode so hated by the player base that it is still shunned during the map voting stage. The main argument for why the changes made the game better consisted of the one less tank player in the match, which sped up the engagements, which lessened the humdrum of shooting into a million bullet sponges alongside their shields, which is that was a fair problem. However, what people fail to mention is how fucking fun it was to duo stack that tank role. I mean, this is all subjective anyway, but you could have so much synergy with the 2 tank 6v6. Why would you remove... I'm rambling, let me stop and let's talk about the PvE, right? About half a year after the release of Overwatch 2, they straight up come out and say that they scrapped the PvE on some under-the-radar developer call, and I was so pissed. I was actually looking forward to that mode. Spoiler. You wanna know how that went? As of 2025, they have released one story mode pack, 3 missions or something, that you had to pay to access for some reason, and then they never touched it again. It was so laughably egregious to me at the time, I could not believe what they were doing to that game. This part of the video is going to be a little conspiracy based, I'm not going to lie, but hear me out, alright? Firstly, around 2019 when Overwatch's 2 initial announcement hits the public, the game was actually set to have a PvE. Sometime before 2021, they already knew it was scrapped because of development hell, Blizzard's lack of transparency, and they removed some Blizzard work-from-home initiative from the pandemic, leading to the devs outright quitting because they couldn't live near the company headquarters. But they didn't say shit to keep the excitement, right? They wanted the hype around the title. Jeff Kaplan, the beloved game director who worked at the company for 19 years, realized the shitstorm that was approaching, as he had all the internal insight. He jumped ship in April 2021, and was replaced with some lizard, I don't know. At this point in 2021, a year before release, the team had 2 options. They could scrap the Overwatch 2 idea, as they were clearly already in over their head, being bled dry with no resources to finish the PvE, and with little interest in keeping the original alive, just finally update the game. Or, and this is what they did, they could release Overwatch 2 knowing damn well nothing good was going to come out of it, make it free to play, release a battle pass, $40 hero skins, make you pay for anything and everything collaborative, and go laugh into the bank while screwing over the initial fanbase that purchased the original in hopes of scooping up whales for the in-game purchases of Overwatch 2. And do you want to know what the absolute definitive worst part about this is? It absolutely fucking worked. The free-to-play model brought in a large influx of new players, and the company reported over $1 billion. But if you played the original and the new game, in my opinion, you were bound to be disappointed. Me and a buddy of mine, who still played the game religiously because we were mentally deficient, would pop into the item shop from time to time and look at their latest like K-pop or some other collab and go, surely there's no one buying these, right? Surely the community of this game has been screwed over enough times and doesn't want to support this game by purchasing a $40 Doomfist One Punch Man skin, right? Because fuck that and fuck Blizzard, right? No. The next 3 matches we would play, back to back, would have both tanks rocking the skin, and we would be dying laughing. Most videos that you will watch that were already made on this platform will excuse the fact that 3 years went by just to get 3 heroes in a few maps because of the development crisis going on internally. But that doesn't seem fair to me. And personally, I don't agree with the sentiment that through all that, they ended up delivering a better game. Because if they had just continued to develop the already existing game instead of spending 3 years working on a PvE that was scrapped because they could never do it in the first place, the game would be more advanced, so to speak. Yes, from what we know, the developers were screwed up by terrible upper management. However, that doesn't change the fact that they just lied. They aren't 100% exonerated from that, as they pushed marketing for a sequel that was a bigger fib than day one Cyberpunk. Alright, let me stop. This is getting ridiculous. I know it's silly to be upset about something like this. This is a fucking game, but it's just disappointing is all it is. Now, thankfully, I believe the game is now in a better state than it was on release. They brought back loot boxes, so you can actually earn cosmetics once again. They added a stadium mode, which I actually enjoy playing, and its format is super exciting. 6v6 is back with some changes and is actually playable because for some reason the community isn't needing roll queue to determine what characters they play for them. Balancing seems to be in a great spot. Some of the new modes they added are consistently fun. This game right now is Overwatch 1 if they had just continued adding content and didn't pull a marketing stunt that generated a genuine dislike for this company, among other things. Alright, that's all I really got. I know I approached this situation with a lot more of an unfair outlook on the development team, who are getting fucked harder and harder each passing second compared to other videos on this topic, but this video came from a place of genuine disappointment with an IP that I have more hours in than time spent with thoughts in my own head. No joke, I probably have like 3,000 hours in this game. Thank you for listening to me talk about this stupid shit. Hope you all have a nice day. Yeah? Who is it? There was a desk crawl, and I was the venue. Blizzard HQ company meeting, am I right? It was the guy who McCree was named after. Activision just did another merger. Everyone hide.